of them. And like I said, I found that company, the contract manufacturer in Hong Kong, jet lagged as hell. I'm walking around carrying like this package in my hands, pulling it out of my pocket occasionally. It's like, I couldn't believe it's real. After 13 years, a year and a half of my life working on it, it's like, it's real, it's in the world. It's kind of a trip. Just one person with the help of some friends, it's kind of cool. You can make things happen in the world that way. So, let's see, did I talk about that? Yes. So, but it turns out, I worked on this thing that I really love. A bunch of friends helped me who love the project. We weren't doing it because we were going to get rich. We were doing it because we really love the idea. And when you work on something you really love, it's really possible to make an impact. And here's some annoying distractions again. I became an accidental activist. And it's fun. I really love it. With TV Be Gone, I put it out in the world. I ran into a friend while jet lagged carrying this thing. I'd take it out of my pocket, look at it, put it back, and I'd run into a volunteer acquaintance from a bicycle coalition that I volunteer with. And he had a friend who pitched the story to Wired.com. They needed some padding in their online site next Tuesday, so yeah, okay, we'll run it. And I figured, well, there'll be a handful of people that might come to my website as a result of that. Because, I never thought of Wired.com. Wired Magazine, yeah, I heard of that, but it gives me a headache. Wired.com, I guess a few people might look at it and come to my website. Me and my friend Chris stayed up all night getting the website ready to take orders. And we were ready at 5:05 a.m. after being up all night. And suddenly my email starts telling me, there's a message, there's a message, there's a message. And each time there was an order, it would send me an email, and I thought there must be something wrong, because I was getting an email every minute, and then 2 a minute. And this is, 5 in the morning. I guess it's 8 in the morning in New York, but, give me a break. It's just this keychain that turns TVs off. Who cares about that besides me and a few wackos? But at 9 in the morning, National Public Radio, which is a big sort of slightly right of center, which in America is considered radical, radio station, calls me up and does a live interview. And I guess I did okay, because other people started calling me up en masse. And I knew an opportunity hitting me over the head when I saw one or heard one over the phone, and I went with it. So I used it, and I pushed it. So I came up right on the spot, with this sound bite. This is a fun way to get the message out there that a TV being on or off is a choice. So that was my message. And it worked. So it got out there. That same day, I got calls from so much worldwide big mega corporate media, including the New York Times, which came over and spent 4 days with me. I don't know if you guys know what People magazine is. I mean, that's the thing that says, Brad Pitt got divorced today, and, full page spread with my weird-ass hair sitting there. And that one's probably the one that's the biggest trip for me, because no one belongs in People magazine, let alone me. But but it's fun, They come up there and they do this makeup, and they shoot you with film all day, and then the reporter hangs out. It's a whole trip for just this one-page thing. What do they do to Brad Pitt? So, anyways, within a few hours of that first day, the website crashed from too much web traffic. Because I just had this cheap-ass PowWeb web hosting thing, and they only allow 5 gigabytes. It's like, that's infinite. Nope. It's not infinite. So the website takes 24 hours to reset, and it crashes again the next day. And it happened again and again until I finally said, I'm getting my own server. So me and some friends set that up. And meanwhile, the media keeps calling and calling. Not only the New York Times, but TV stations. I was on live national TV in America for 40 million people. And and I was saying this. And I was saying, turn me off. And then the other people were going, wait, don't turn us off yet, you know? So I figured it'd be fun to have a half-hour-long infomercial, you know? It's like, why are you watching me? Turn me off! But that's only a fantasy. So, yeah, and anyways, I was worldwide. I was #1 news story in Chinese Yahoo. I was the #1 story in Yahoo all over the world for 2 days. And it's just amazing. You put something out there and the effect that it can have, you can't know. You just can't know. So, yeah, I was in Der Spiegel, Le Monde, BBC, bazillions of times. You name it, TV Be Gone was there, and often with my face. So, what else can I say there? With all the media, I mean, that's fun. I mean, someone puts a microphone in your face and they ask your opinion and you give it, and then they broadcast it verbatim to the world. What could be cooler than that? Unless you just go bleh. But I only did that a couple of times. But what I really knew I was doing something cool is when all over the web people were talking about this device that they thought was really, really cool, except for one site called Gizmodo. And if you do a search on Google for TV Be Gone, it still comes up on the front page and it says, Mitch Altman is an asshole. And not just your regular asshole, but the self-righteous, it goes on, he's bad. He doesn't like me. But he never even met me. So it didn't really matter because zillions of people found out about TV Be Gone and ordered them because of him. And then there are all these other blogs and people uploaded videos. Here's one I found, and the guy who made this video I actually later met at this cool thing called a Maker Faire in San Francisco area, and they put on by Make Magazine, and this guy turned out later to become the senior editor of that, and cool guy, his name's Phil. He put this video on, he said I could use it, so check this out, if we can get sound.
Nope, I got any.
You got those two in the one.
Oh, I did it?
Yeah.
It was an instant?
Video Be Gone.
There you go. Shit, I got a wall. Go, yay!
Yeah, so I've heard that a few people have been trying this at Saturn across the street. I can only encourage that kind of behavior. And my hack has been hacked. So, you know, when you do something, other people use their imagination and make it even better for their thing, and that's what hacking is all about. So Hackaday put it inside of a cell phone. I don't have a picture of that. A French fan just emailed me and said, hey, I put it inside of some Gauloises, and of course they're the worst cigarettes, but best for using in TV Gone because it fits perfectly the emitter in the O. Someone on Engadget put it in binoculars, and then you can get it from your neighbors like across a valley. And then this one here is a one. Where's my thing? This is on Instructables.com, which is a really cool do-it-yourself website, and they give step-by-step how-tos. Downstairs, I've been showing people how to do it with 2 extra emitters and a bigger battery. They went full bore with 20 extra emitters. That one gets 100 meters. Yeah, and it's quite a very satisfying feeling of power and control when you can. I highly recommend it. This is a baseball hat on Make Magazine, makezine.com. They put TV Be Gone in here, and you can't really see it in this picture, but there are 3 emitters on the brim of the hat. So, and there's also they set it up so that it's always on. And there's a how-to on there. So everywhere you look, the TV turns off if there's one. So, yeah. Yeah, so, and now I just start a few things just in closing up. I sold I made 20,000 TV Gons as a huge gamble. One of the companies I worked for, a Silicon Valley startup, that makes a RAID controller, which is a device that makes disk drives go quick. And, you know, it was okay. I mean, it's one of these things which the process is cool, but at the end of the day, it's not like I'm super proud that I put this into the world. It's cool. I mean, I have one in my computer. It helps me do audio recording on my computer, which I do. But, of course, it's the usual Silicon Valley story. The investors start taking over. They hire a bunch of bozos, middle management, run it into the ground, almost put it out of business. It miraculously survives. And then they diluted everyone out who was there at the beginning to almost zero, and then sold the company for $150 million. And I got $70,000 out of that deal. A good chunk of money. I can't complain about having that amount when I thought I'd get zero. But, you know, I worked 1.5 years of my life on this project, which is just kind of cool, and got mono, which is this horrible disease that comes from stress, and you do nothing but sleep for 3 weeks, which I needed. So anyways, they enabled me to buy 20,000 TV Gons, so I did. And what the hell? Free money, free TV Gons. And it turns out that it didn't take 5 years or so to sell them. It took 3 weeks. You know, I just want to, one of the things I see through the whole thing, like, I'm a fairly creative individual, intelligent, but not really special any different than any one of you guys. All I did was make a choice to do something that I love. You know, I made the time to do it. And by doing that, there was no guarantee that anything was going to come from it. But there is a guarantee that if you don't do that, you won't be doing what you love. So, you know, just make cool choices. So, you know, just on closing, just choose well what you do with the time of your life, and get some sound for the last 30-second video here.
TV begun upon your screen. TV begun, turn up the TV. TV begun, you can take the TV begun. TV begun. TV begun.
So that's my wrap. If there are any questions, feel free.
Testing? Right. So I have a suggestion. Have you seen the guy who's flying his little 4-rotor drone around?
Yes, and I had the same idea.
25-minute endurance, you can fly by a lot of windows.
I like that kind of thinking.
Aren't you thrown out of restaurants if you come in? Are you not blacklisted on all restaurants in San Francisco, so you have to eat somewhere else because you're the person who always switches off these televisions?
Well, you know, TV Begun, you've probably seen it's sort of a retro look. I did that purposely. You know, this is a group project. It was my idea, my vision, but all these friends just wanted to help. That video was made by a friend in San Francisco, and another friend designed the case. Another friend designed the graphics that were used in there and on the website. I'm losing track of my mind. What was I going at? Oh yes, the retro look. Harkening back to a time when TV wasn't so important. You know, back in the late 50s, early 60s, and Batman kind of look from that same era, Batman stealth. So this is Batman kind of stealth for a reason. You can use it with no one knowing. So I'm not kicked out of restaurants because nobody knows. And the weird thing is, when you turn off a TV, people don't notice. It's very weird because It's noise. We tune out noise when we come up with it, when we can't do anything about it. And so when it turns off, we're not conscious it turns off in general.